Hi, welcome to Keep On Moving with me, Valerie. We're going to be going through a standard traditional yoga class today, the one I use for my senior yoga members. This one does require sitting on a mat, standing up, and then sitting back down. So if you feel like you're not ready for that, go ahead and look at the seated yoga class. If you've done this before or you're an old hand at yoga, it should seem quite familiar. There are a number of tools you can also use to help you. If you need a chair on the side to stand up and get down, that's perfectly fine too. Sometimes getting up from the floor is the hardest part. Before we begin, I also want to have you notice the artwork behind me. I thought we'd create a nice little set and feature some artists. I have artwork by Lahib Jaddo. I have photographs by my daughter Naomi. And I have one of my pieces here, the bird flying into the west. So, have a seat on your mat. If this position feels slightly a little tight for you, you can loosen your legs. You can put one leg out, whatever feels comfortable for you. We're going to sit up as tall as we can. Again, you can use your hands to help you. And as we always do, we're just going to start with some breathing. Let's take a deep breath in. Bring your palms together. Exhale. Bring your hands right over your heart. This kind of sets your mood, gets you ready for your practice. Breathe in and exhale out. Breathe in again. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale, you can exhale through your nose or through your mouth if that feels a little more of a release. And let's do that one more time. Breathe in. Exhale, stretch the arms down. Breathe in again. Just to get yourself in a calm state of mind, to be in the present moment. Rest your arms down. And we're going to start with just some gentle neck stretches. I like to start small and then gradually build up to the bigger movements. And slowly turn your head and look across one shoulder. I spend a lot of time doing these gentle warm-ups because as we get older, it does take more time for our bodies to warm up, for our muscles to loosen. So just take your time on this, slow and easy. See what your range of motion is. You may not be able to look clearly across your shoulder, but just turn your head as far as you can. Nice stretch. Looking straight ahead, lower the chin down. Just a gentle release. You'll feel the back of your neck stretching. Breathe in, look up to the ceiling. I've got the sun full in my face right now, so I'm closing my eyes. Don't drop the head too far. And let's go again, tilting the head forward. Lifting the chin, looking upwards. And holding the head level. Now, the side tilts is a little harder for some people. They might feel that tightness or stiffness in the neck, but just let the head lean. However far it wants to without pushing it, ear towards the shoulder. Lift up, and let the head lean towards the other side. Feel that stretch down the side of the neck. And again, remember, ear towards the shoulder, not shoulder towards your ear. And over. Breathe in and exhale. Stretch out. Good. A little more for those neck muscles. They will appreciate it, feeling loosened up. Look to one side and we'll just do some half circles, releasing the head down and back up. You might feel a little bit of crickling back there. That's all right. Just release the head and back the other way. We're going to do a full circle. If that's uncomfortable for your neck or you've had some neck issues in the past, just do the half circles. For the rest of us, we're going to roll the head all the way around. And then back the other way. Good. Take a shrug of your shoulders now. Lift up as you breathe in. Exhale and release. We often get a lot of tension in our shoulders, so we will occasionally during our practice help the shoulders release. We're ready to stretch our full back now. So we're going to start just like we did with stretching our neck by turning to one side. But this time we're turning the whole back. Feel that spine turning. Reach to your knee. Look across your back shoulder if you can. If not, look to the side. And then slowly go to the other side. Take a breath as you're passing through. Exhale as you turn to the other side. You can still breathe while you're in a twist. It feels a little more constrained, but breathe out the sides of your ribs. Your ribs are meant to expand and contract as you breathe, so they're quite adaptable. And turn and look once more. You want to stay seated as tall as you can as you're doing this. That extends your vertebrae so that they turn more easily. We're ready to go into our forward bend now. Stretch up as high as you can. Use this stretch to really feel the ribs lifted up away from your hips, your back lengthened, and reach out and over. Down to this sidewalk here. Stretch as far as you can so that you get your lower back muscles engaged too, that you're not just dropping your head. And now lift up. Stretch up as high as you can. Reach behind your back. We're going to do an open heart stretch. You're clasping your hands here and just stretching them down to your mat, opening the shoulders. Really feel a stretch across your chest, your pectoral muscles. And release. Now you don't have to, but I like to do the switch here with my legs, putting the other foot in front, because you're going to feel more in the opposite hip now when you do the forward bend. So let's reach up and stretch out again. Reach out with those fingers as far as you can. Good. Just enjoy the stretch unless it's uncomfortable, and then back yourself up a little bit. Take it at a higher level. Lift your arms straight up again. Nice high reach behind you, and let's do that open heart stretch again. Good. Really good for your back if you're sitting all day or bent over your phone or your computer. Helps lift those muscles. And release. Let's go into our side bend. I'm going to start with the gentle version first. Just hands on your mat. Again, give yourself a boost. I know it's hard to sit upright for long periods of time. And slide one hand out towards the edge of your mat. And just like you did with the next stretch, release your head. And just let the body hang. Lift up. Take a breath. Same thing on the other side. Slide the hand out to where it feels comfortable and let the body hang. This side is tighter, I can tell, and you'll usually notice that from one side to the other. All right, let's go into a full side bend. Lift your arm up high and look towards your hand. You're going to lift in the ribs up here so you're not sinking down, and you're going to keep your arm lifted up too. That helps lift your ribs. Take a big breath. And exhale and look up. Feel that stretch. Again, if it feels uncomfortable or too far, release up just a little bit. You're not trying to feel pain, you're just trying to feel a nice, gentle stretch. And up. All right. We're going to lengthen our legs out now, because they've been bent a long time, into our staff pose. If you notice, I was sitting on this little pad earlier. This is great if your hips are a little bony, and I'll use it to kneel on too if you have sensitive knees. So, into our staff pose. The staff pose is just trying to form a right angle with your body. And you may not be able to do that without help, so don't worry about placing your hands on the floor, or you can back yourself straight up against a wall if there's one nearby and use the wall for support while your lower back muscles get stronger. The lower back muscles tend to weaken easily, and so it's easy just to start sinking down. But we want to keep them strong, lifting up from the sacrum up the back. And we're going to start with the arms straight ahead, and again, feeling those lower muscles, reach out over the toes. Nice long stretch, just holding the arms. Again, however far you can go. There's no competition here. You're not trying to match anyone else. You're just trying to do what's good for your body. Lift up again, and this time we're going to take an actual forward bend. As you stretch out, bring the hands slowly down. Now, if they're the most comfortable by your knees, just stop there. You're still going to get a good stretch. If you can reach farther down, you can place your hands on your ankles, or you can reach for your toes. Good. And try not to drop your head or upper back. They need that work to help stay strong. So keep lifting out towards your feet, keeping your direction forward. And if that's too tight for your hamstrings there, that's a big stretch for the hamstrings, you can bend the knees as you're doing it. Let's go up now into Tibetan table. This is one of our first strengthening poses so that we feel it in our shoulders and in our hips. Bring your feet up so they're flat on the floor, hands behind your hips. And lift the hips up as high as you can. Now they may only come a few inches off the floor, that's fine. Just push down with the shoulders so your shoulders are not scrunching up. Push down with the shoulders, lift up with the hips. And you can tighten all the way around the hips. This is a good time to wake up your gluteal muscles, your butt muscles, and your thigh muscles. And slowly come back down. Okay. From here, we're going to turn onto our knees. This is where I'm going to use my knee pad again. Many years of modern dance have made my knees a little vulnerable, so I like to protect them. And we're going to start just with a level or neutral back, so that you can sense that your back is as flat as it can be, and you're looking straight down towards the floor. This is our cat-cow stretch, really good for an overall back stretch, especially if you've been sitting a lot. Just to get down and do this kind of gets every vertebra in your back moving. So we're going to take a deep breath in, lift the head, and lift the tailbone. So you're accentuating that curve in your lumbar back. Now we're going to lift in the middle, tuck your abdominal muscles in. This is the cat part of your pose. Arching cat, looking down. Now, as you go into the cow part, as you arch your back downwards, breathe in. As you lift in the middle back, exhale so that you're hollowing out your abdominal muscles. And again, let's breathe in. Arch up with the head and exhale. Arch up in the middle. Let's do that one more time. And exhale. That should feel like a really nice stretch. Now, feel your back level again. And we're going to drop back to child's pose. Hips back to your heels, arms stretching forward. If you can't get your hips all the way down to the heels, just keep them suspended a little bit. Rest your elbows, bring your head down. That's a little easier on the knee joints. If you can stretch back, head down. All right, we're going to practice the first of our poses that strengthen our legs for later on for warrior poses and sun salutation. So we're going to step our right foot forward right about where our hand would be so that the knee is straight over your ankle, and you're going to stretch up. This is just a nice big opening stretch of the body. And bring your hands down next to that foot, and we're going to push off the back knee, flex your toes, push off the back knee into pyramid. And again, if you can't get your feet and legs, if you can't get your legs perfectly straight, you can keep them slightly bent. You're bringing your head down towards your leg. Big stretch here in your hamstrings. All right, bring this knee carefully back down. Tuck the other knee back and step the left foot forward. Let's do that on the other side, making sure everything is lined up again. And up we go. Big stretch. Again, if this is uncomfortable for your shoulders, and if you can only stretch this far, you're still getting a good workout here. So. And bring your hands down next to your foot. Let's push off the back knee into pyramid again. Again, if a stretch starts to get uncomfortable, the muscle gets shaky, or you get a cramp, come on out of it right away. In, lower that back knee. Both knees in place. You're ready to do a down dog. Most everyone's familiar with down dog. It's one of the most popular of yoga poses. So here we go. Up to down dog. You're lifting your hips as high as you can. You're pressing your heels down as close to the mat as you can. Lower the shoulders. Press through your hands and into your fingers so that your wrists aren't bearing all the weight. Think of your hands like gecko hands, gripping or stretching across the mat. Good. And let's come slowly out of our down dog. We're going to stand up now. There are various ways you can stand up. You can stand up from kneeling and work your way backwards and up, or you can come up from down dog and just scoot your feet forward and stand up. And we'll take a pause. Hi, we're ready for the standing portion now of our yoga class. We're going to do some standing poses or asanas. That was my neighbor Sugar dropping by. As you can see, I'm dressed fairly casually for this class. I'm also shamelessly promoting Flatlands Dance Theater, and they are also portrayed in Naomi's photos behind me. Let's start in mountain pose, which is the pose I'm in at this very moment. This is just a pose to check your posture and alignment. And you want to, as you're standing, check your ears? Are they right over your shoulders? If your head is drifting forward, tuck the neck muscles back, tuck the chin in slightly so that you're getting your neck in alignment. Shoulders right over your hips so you're not arching, pushing forward or sinking backwards. And then straight down into the floor, check the soles of your feet. Is your weight equally balanced so you're not rolling outwards or inwards or too far forward or too far back, so that you're just equally balanced. And then don't lock your knees. Keep them just slightly relaxed. You know what happens when people lock their knees when they're standing? They sometimes keel over. So, standing tall, we're just going to do some breathing again, just to start this section. Deep breath in, and exhale down. And one more time. Deep breath in, and exhale down. Good. And we're ready to go into chair pose. This is a strengthening pose for hips and thighs. Bending the knees right over your toes, just like you were skiing. Bring your arms straight forward. Relax the shoulders down, but keep strong in your core. And again, check where your weight is on your feet. If you're rotating inwards, your knees are going to come together, and if you're going outwards, they're going to go apart. So you want to keep the knees straight ahead. If it starts to get uncomfortable, just straighten up a little and come back down. Or if you feel like you can go a little bit deeper and get more strengthening, do that as well. This is a simple, basic chair pose. I'm going to do it sideways so that you can see from here, stretching. My hips are angled back, my arms are stretched forward. You can get out of chair in a number of ways. We're just going to go straight over into a forward bend. It helps release your legs and hips. Straight over, just hang the head, hang the body, loosen the knees. With your head upside down, you're in an inverted pose, which means you're getting blood to your head, which is good for your brain. But then you need to come up slowly so that you don't get dizzy when the blood returns back to your heart. That was chair pose. We're going to do some balancing now, and I'm going to start just with an easy balance, which is crane pose. Again, we're going to start feet right under the hips. If you need to move to a wall or to a fence for this one, for stability, feel free to do that, especially if you do have balance issues. We're going to bring the arms forward again, just like we did for our chair. We're going to shift the weight to one leg without sinking though. Just shift over, lift one knee up slowly, about hip height, lift the opposite arm. This is a basic Karate Kid type pose. Breathe as you're doing it. Notice your facial muscles so that you're not tensing up or getting a fixed stare. Keep your eyes soft. I have to keep mine soft because the sun is shining in my face. And come back down. If you were holding your breath, now's a good time to breathe again. But you want to keep breathing through your poses. Let's do the other side now. Arms straight ahead, keeping the shoulders relaxed so our upper body's calm. Just a little tightening in the middle, just so the center will hold. Slowly lift the other knee up. And the opposite arm, stretching upwards. Keep a single focus. In dance we call that spotting, where you just spot a single place. That also keeps you from getting distracted from any movement around you, especially if other people are fighting for balance. And back down. Good. Ready to do some warrior poses. You'll feel a little more secure on your mat in a warrior pose. They're good, strong, stable, grounded poses. So we're going to start with warrior 2. Even though there's a warrior one, warrior two is actually slightly easier. So I like to begin with that one. Arms straight out. Turn the foot so it's lined up exactly with your hand, and then your nose is lined up looking over the top of your hand. We're going to start bending that forward knee. You want to bend just enough so your knee is lined up again over your ankle. It's not pushed too far forward, which strains your knee. And you don't want to reach forward with the ribs either. You want to keep your ribs right over your hips. Nice, strong warrior pose. Breathe while you're doing this. Now make sure the outside edge of your back foot is pressed to the mat. That will help keep you stable as well. And let's go back to crescent. Lean to that back leg. Stretch your arm up. And now we're going to go over to triangle. Triangle is a deep side bend. So if you need to stop around your knee and hold that other arm open and up, just stop there. If you can slide deeper into that stretch, keep going, but keep this top shoulder open so that you have a long line from one arm down through the other. I do have crooked arms, so I can't get a nice straight line. My elbows are just built that way. All right, coming back up is the tricky part. Press firmly with both feet. That'll keep your legs supporting you as you lift your body because you're resisting gravity on that one. Turn the toes straight forward. Take a deep breath. And let's do a wide forward bend. Just reach for the ankles. Look through your legs. Let your head release again. Bend your knees. Loosen your shoulders as needed. And come up slowly. Stretch the arms. We're ready to do the other side. Turning the foot, lining up with the hand, lining up with your nose, into warrior two. This is a good pose for practicing confidence. That you're lifted, you're strong, you feel in control. And let's go back to that crescent. Not so much sun on my face on this side. And over to the triangle again. Easing down the leg, again, stopping where you need to. If you can get all the way to the floor, you can go ahead and do that. I like to rest my hand on my foot. It makes me feel a little more stable. Helps hold my foot in place too. And again, lifting up, pressing firmly. Stretch the arms out again, toes forward, big breath. Exhale over. And let's come up slowly once more. Bring the feet together now. You can wiggle around or shift or do what you want here because that helps release those hips. We're now ready for sun salutations. In my class, we usually just do them at our own pace for about 2-3 minutes. Everybody has their own variation that they do. Some simpler, some harder based on their skill level or whatever's going on with their body. Every day is different for people. Some days we have injuries or we're not feeling up to par. Whatever's going on, it affects us every day. We don't have to do everything the same each day we do this. So adapt as you need to. And some days you can skip whatever is not working if you've strained a muscle or something like that. Take care of your body. I'm going to do a really basic sun salutation that I basically made up a little bit for the people that can't do the full down to the floor and back up sun salutation. I also have a variation for seated yoga that I'll also show again in another video. But this is a sun salutation for people who can't go all the way down and up to the floor. We're going to start towards the edge of the mat, just like a diving board here. Palms together, you're going to reach out, take a deep breath, Big open stretch. Every sun salutation starts like this, into a forward bend. Now from here, we're most likely to go to the floor, but for this variation, we're going to come up halfway, rest our hands on our thighs, stretch the back. Go all the way down again and release the back. Now come slowly up, take one step back, turn the foot out, and we're going into a warrior one. Stretching the arms up. Bring the feet together. On the other side, step back, rotate the foot out, reach up to warrior one. You can keep hands together or open and apart if that's easier on your shoulders. Bring the feet together, bring your palms together, and you're ready to repeat as necessary. Now, I'm going to turn this way to do a standard sun salutation. And there's an A side and a B side to a standard sun salutation. So I will do both. Again, we start with that deep breath. Exhale into forward bend. I'm going to lunge my right leg back first into what looks like a runner stretch. Other leg back so you're in a plank. Now in my class we'll go straight down to the floor. You can also do the little worm here, but you're going to drop to the floor, elbows close, hands close, lift up into either a cobra or an up dog. In cobra, your hips are going to stay on the mat. In up dog, your hips are lifting up. And come back down. Flex your toes. From here we're going to a down dog. If you can't go straight to a down dog, come to your knees first and then to your down dog. And lift up. This is the tricky part, and you're welcome to skip this section and just stand up again. I'm going to lift my leg. It gives me a head start. Step it up to where my hand is. If your leg won't reach your hand, you can grab hold of your leg and put it there. And we practiced this earlier. Up to the knees. Stretch. Down. Push off to your pyramid. Again, we did a practice on the floor earlier, and this helped prepare our body for this section. Bring the feet together, and up. And then we begin again. Big breath. And left leg back this time. Then the right leg. Down and into your cobra or up dog. And down. Flex your toes. Push to down dog. Come to your knees if you need to. You don't have to do this swing. I just like to do it. Step forward or bring your foot forward. Kneel on the back leg. Up. Down. Push off the back leg. Bring it to the front leg. All right, I'm going to do that all over again. Both sides. Only faster. If you do these quickly, they're a pretty good little workout for your heart and an all-over body stretch. If you do it slowly, it can help calm you down if you do it later in the day. But it is a good morning wake-up, even if it's the only thing you do. If you do a sun salutation every day, it will keep your body going. That was 2 sets. I have some people that like to do 3. There are some workouts where you do 10 sets. So feel free to do as many as you like. You can pause the film right here and keep going. After you finish, we're going back to mountain pose. Gives your heart a chance to slow down. And we're going to bring our feet slightly apart, back to our shoulders again, just to get them released. Good. Roll the shoulders back. One of my favorite things to do. And roll them forward. I should have worn sunglasses to film this. I didn't think about it. And stretch over. Reach up by your ear. Make a nice frame for your face. And let's do the other arm. Stretch across. Frame your face. Stretch up. Down. All right, we're ready to go back on the floor for some deeper stretches now. I'm in everyone's favorite pose right now, basking in the sun. This is called Savasana. You're just lying flat on your back. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hips. And just feel a softening of all of your joints. Your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists into your hands. Your hips, your knees, your ankles, even your toes. Right after that sun salutation, this allows your breath and your heart to slow down. So we're going to do a little belly breathing today while we're flat on our backs, because you can feel your breath more on your back. We're going to put one hand on our heart, the other right over our navel or just below. And as you breathe, you want your lower hand to rise up, then the upper hand. And as you exhale, press through the chest, press down into your stomach. Let's do that again. That makes the air move all the way down to the bottom of your lungs so that you get a full breath. And exhale again. That should feel good. Let's bend our knees now. As you bend your knees, you're going to feel your lumbar back release to the floor. So let that happen so that your back is snug on your mat, palms by your side. And we're just going to let both knees fall to one side slowly. Just to feel that stretch down the hip and the outer thigh. Trying to keep both shoulders on the mat though. Lift back up. Let's go to the other side. And again, lift the knees up. And over. Once more, lift the knees up and over. And return to your neutral position. Now, we're going to get ready to do a bridge. Palms straight down by your side next to your hips. Bring your heels close to your hips if you can. If you can touch your heels, that's fine. If not, close enough. And we're going to lift our hips up into bridge. This is another exercise that makes you work your gluteal muscles around to the front of your hips nice and tight, and your thighs. And just like in chair, you want to keep your knees lined up just like you're skiing so they don't bow in or bow out. You're just lifting straight up, stretching your hands along the mat. We sometimes hold this for a minute just to really build strength. But we won't do that today, just a few seconds here. Let's take a deep breath and roll down your back from the upper back all the way to your tailbone. Now we're going to slide one leg straight and lift that leg towards us. Since we're on the floor and don't have to worry about balancing or staying upright, we can concentrate now on just stretching. If you have very tight legs and you cannot reach your foot and you want a little help, some of my students use this and it's very handy. You can hold on to this to stretch your leg, especially when we open it out to the side. So, I've seen these online. I don't know how fast they're delivering in these times, but they can be found locally if any of those stores are open as well. If you can reach up, you can grab your toe. It's called the hand to big toe stretch. Or you can hold on to your ankle or your calf, and we're going to open the leg side. We're going to open that other knee slightly. Don't fall over and tip. Keep your hips on the mat. Lift the leg back up. Cross it over the other knee. And we're going to rock that knee towards us, linking behind it. This is called eye of the needle. It's like you're going through that opening there. Stretch your lower leg up. Good stretch for this hip here. You can also move your ankle and your toes while they're up there. Sounds like we have a helicopter going by. And let's bring our feet back down again. We're going to start once more with our bridge. Arms by your side. And lift the hips up into that bridge. You can also do a variation where you stretch your arms overhead with no hands. You can try that. A little extra stretch in the shoulders. And lower the hips slowly down again. Feel your tailbone touch. Let's slide the left leg straight and lift it towards you. And once again, use that hoop, or you can use a strap or a scarf if you need to hold your leg in place. And again, I'm going to open this leg out. I'm going to release my opposite arm and knee slightly so that I stay stable as my leg stretches. You're stretching your inner thigh here and your hip joint. Again, if it's uncomfortable, bring it in a little bit. Lift the leg back up, cross it over the other knee. Here we go for that eye of the needle, and extend the leg up. And once again, you can do the ankle twirl, wiggle your toes, just get that movement in. Let's hug both knees to our chest now. And now just lift your head, curling up into a ball and down. We're going to do a little core work. Opening our arms out, keeping our knees together. This is going to strengthen your stomach. This is one of the easier ones to do that doesn't disturb your back too much. Holding your knees together, we're just going to draw circles in the air. Going around one way, about 4 times. I'm going clockwise right now, and then back the other way, counterclockwise, circling around. It actually feels good on your lower back too. And then just a simple toe touch to the ground. Just barely touch your toes and lift them back up. Straighten your legs so that you are in a reclining staff pose. That staff pose, remember, is the right angle of the body. Bend your knees, touch your toes down, lift in, stretch up. Let's do that again. In, touch down, in, and up. In, touch down. Now, if you're more advanced and you need to feel it more in your muscles, instead of touching your toes, push your legs out. Tuck them in and up. Bring them in, push your legs out, touch in, up, and in. Or you can just keep touching the toes there, touching the toes, and you'll still feel that workout. All right. Good. Lower the feet flat to the floor again. We're going to straighten the legs out. Take a nice long stretch overhead. Good. You can stretch one arm and then the other if you wish. Then bring your arms straight up. Wrap them around your chest. And just a couple of easy breaths. Now, we're going to turn over. You can get up one or two ways. You can rock and roll up. But if that's tricky for you, if you feel like a turtle on your back trying to get up, just turn to the side, push up, and we're going straight down. We're going to start with just a gentle back arch. Arching backwards gets harder as you get older because our spines are tending to curve forward, but we want to fight against that. So we're going to lean onto our elbows. This is just called a sphinx or a half cobra. Leaning on your elbows, looking straight ahead or slightly upwards. And don't let your shoulders sink up by your ears. Press down through the elbows and the hands. If your lower back is pinching, lower down just a little. Good. If you feel like you can stretch more, you can slide your hands under your shoulders and come up to a cobra. But again, you want to be careful of your lower back. That's a hard place to heal if you get it strained. So let's come back down. And we're going to do a little work on our hip flexors. Especially if you're sitting a lot and the legs are bent forward, we want to be able to stretch those hip flexors. So we're going to bend our knee and just lift the knee up off the floor. Stretch it up. Bring it back down. And again, stretch that knee up and down. You're pushing from the front of the hip, pulling from the back of the hip. Everything's working together to lift. And one more. Good. And let's do the other knee. Bend up. I like to flex my foot and then just push with the sole of my foot. Up and down. Push up and down. And press up and down. One more time. Push up and down. Good. And now everybody's least favorite pose, but it's so good for your back. This is the locust pose. So we're going to start with a half locust. Stretch one arm out. You're going to lift that arm and the opposite leg. This one's a challenging pose. And back down. Stretch the other arm out. And lift this arm and the opposite leg. Keep both of them really strong and extended. Don't let them go limp. Keep that energy going. And back down. And now full locust. Here we go. Stretch out. Breathe in as you go up. But then you're going to keep breathing. Keep breathing while you're up there so you don't hold your breath. It's a hard pose. You're working your upper back. This is one of the weakest spots in your body, right between your shoulder blades. And that's what you're trying to strengthen, plus the backs of your legs. And come back down. And that was so enjoyable, we're going to do it one more time. Stretch your arms out. This time let's do a variation. Bring them by your side. And now lift from the shoulders and the legs. Stretch up. I know my feet aren't very far off the floor, but I can still feel it. And back down. Good. All right, we're going to lift up slowly. Back to hands and knees. I'll bring my mat back for my knees. And after that floor work, you can wag the tail, whatever you need to loosen back up. And now a little more work for those hip flexors. Lifting the leg to the back, we're going to do scorpion pose. Stretch one leg straight back. I started with my right leg, as I often do. Leaning onto your elbows, lower your forehead as you lift your leg. And tuck that knee in, stretch back up. Let's do the other side. Feel the legs straight back parallel to the floor. And then as you go onto your elbows, lift the leg however high you can. And bring that knee back in. We're ready for a strengthening pose. So we're going to do dolphin today. This is a good pose to do for upper body strength because you're doing it on your forearms, not on your hands, which can put a lot of pressure on your wrists. We're going to clasp our hands, and just like with down dog, we're going to flex our toes and push our hips up to the ceiling or the sky. So this is dolphin pose, and we usually just hold this for strength. Again, breathing slowly and evenly. If you want to make it harder, you can rock forward and back. That one really is challenging. I'm still working on that. Come down whenever you're ready, or you can just hold as long as you want to if you're feeling like you're getting a good upper body strengthening here. And now stretch back into a child's pose. And my favorite variation of that, bring your hands forward, and we're going to do melting heart. Instead of dropping back to your hips, you're going to lower your elbows, drop your sternum, your chest towards the mat. You get a nice deep stretch between your shoulder blades. Your hips are in the air. Good. And then we're going to sit. Getting close to the end of our workout, so we're just doing some of our slower stretches, letting our heart rate come down. Soles of the feet together. This is bound ankle pose. Now everybody has a different degree of flexibility in their hips, and this is the pose where you can really see it. I have some people that can get their knees flat to the floor. They have very loose hips. Other people, their knees are up here because they have very tight hips. So I'm somewhere in between there. Now instead of curving over towards my toes, which again accentuates that rounded back, I still want to work on us getting our back straight and strong. So we're going to put the arms straight ahead and just reach forward. Good. Reaching. And back up. Nice. And we're going to stretch one leg out to the side. Good. Arms up, we're going to do a side bend. And again, if you just need to rest your hand on your leg, you can. If you want, this is another exercise. You can use the hoop if you need to help you. This is a very handy object for a number of things. So we're going to do a nice side bend. Arm up, not in front of the face. Stretching up high, looking upwards. And we're going to go into Lord of the Fishes pose. I'm going to bring one foot all the way over the other knee. Now, again, if you can't do this pose completely, extend the lower leg out. And then your foot fits a little more evenly. Sitting up as tall as you can again. This is a twisting pose. We're going to turn and bring the elbow up to the knee. And turn and look as far back as you can. If you can look all the way over the back shoulder, that's great. If you need to look sideways, you can do that too. Let's go back the other way just to help our back unwind. And then we're going to loosen our legs out. Hold under one knee and just circle the ankle. Let that leg relax. And back to our bound angle. We're going to do all that on the other side. Starting with the arms forward, let's reach forward, that nice long stretch. Get the back going. Up. Leg goes out to the side. Again, grab your hoop if you need it. Sitting up as tall as you can. Reaching to side bend. Open that arm over the top of your head. And let's go into Lord of the Fishes, or the variation of it. Lifting up as tall as you can. And turn into your... Let's go back the other way. I think my back just popped. That happens sometimes. And circle the ankle. And we're coming to one more pose to do. We're going to start from bound angle and go right into wide angle. Okay. Again, this is a hard one to sit upright in. We tend to lean forward to support ourselves or feel like we're falling backwards. So, sitting on this little pad does help me sit upright a little more. You can use your hands if you want as well. So that you, again, you want ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. And ideally, you want your knees pretty much facing upwards. Depending on your hips, some people's knees tend to roll in, or if you've had lots of ballet in your life, they tend to roll way out. But think of keeping them up to the ceiling. We're going to turn to one leg. Start easy by placing the hands by the knees, just into a little stretch over. Once you feel like you've eased into that, you can then reach down to your toes or grab your hoop and get hold of your toes. Good. Remember to breathe. You're just going for an easy stretch here, not a brutal stretch. Slowly and easily gets you there. All right, let's come up to the other side. And same thing, place your hands, start by your knees, and just let the weight of the body bring you down. And then when you're ready, you can slide your hands out, down your feet, down to your toes. And then our last big stretch, which is wide angle forward bend. Again, you can do variations of this. You can just place your hands here and just gently lean over and feel those inner thighs and hips stretching. Or you can take a deep breath, reach out over your legs, and again, you can rest them on your calves and lower legs, or you can stretch out to your toes. Hopefully you're breathing. I don't like to hold these big poses too long, and that is because when you're older, it's harder to get out of those poses. Your muscles tend to complain a lot. So we're not going to hold more than about 10 or 15 seconds on some of those big poses. So bring your legs in slowly and just loosen everything up. We are almost there. We're going to go back to where we started. But first, some hand stretches. Bring your hands out, open and close your fingers, get them loosened up. Good. Let's make a fist. I call this playing the castanets. Roll your fingers in, little finger to thumb, and release. Little finger to thumb. And if you play the castanets, you know that's how it works. And in, out, and in, and out. Good. Bring your hands forward, lift up, stretch down. Lift up, down, and stretch. And stretch. All right, let's do our jazz hands. Up, stretch out. Really stretch those fingers and together. Especially if you do lots of work with your hands. If you're a stitcher or a quilter or an embroiderer or crocheter, any of those type of skills, you need to do these exercises to stretch your hands out. Also make bear claws. Bear claws and stretch. Bear claws, stretch. Bear claws, bear claws. And now I've got the perfect finishing pose for these times. This is called the lion pose. You can scream out all of your frustration and worry and anxiety and whatever's inside. So, lion pose. You're going to put your hands on the floor, make little lion paws here. Roll your eyes up to look as high as you can. Stick your tongue out, touch your chin, and roar like a lion. I'm sure that looks really nice. All right, let's do some breathing. I know we're not supposed to touch our faces right now, so we won't do alternate nostril breathing. Let's do dragon breathing. Taking 3 sharp breaths in, holding that breath, exhaling through your nose like you're blowing out steam, and snort that air out. And again, use those abdominal muscles. Breathe in. Hold the breath. Snort the air out. One more time. And snort that breath out. And palms together. And namaste. At the end of every class, we do relaxation and meditation, and this is just to address that other part of yoga, which is mindfulness, being present, releasing stress and anxiety. The physical part of yoga, we like to address balance, we like to address strength and flexibility. But for this part, we like to focus on our mental and spiritual well-being. So, we're all going to go back to Savasana, stretching out on your mat. Now make yourself comfortable here if you need to. If you need a head roll, put something at the back of your neck. If you need a knee roll, if your back relaxes more with a pillow under your knees, go ahead and do that. If you're cold, you can bring a blanket. If you need a teddy bear, you can bring your stuffed animal. Or your real animal, if they don't bother you. So, we're going to go into this Savasana and take a few moments just to breathe. The idea is that we're calming our minds now, as well as our bodies. I'm in an outdoor environment, and I can hear the birds around me and the breeze. at least 3 different kinds of birds. So my senses are alert right now, but I'm going to just sort of withdraw inwards now and continue to let the body soften and relax. Feel your heartbeat slowing down. Feel your hands and feet softening. Listen to your breath. If your mind tends to wander, just bring it back. Listen to your breath again. If you're a visual person and you need to create a scene in your mind, go to one of your favorite places. Go to the beach, or the mountains, or sitting under a shady tree. Just find that place where you can feel at rest. Continue to relax. And now we're just going to focus on every part of our body. I like to begin at the top of the head so that we get our facial muscles relaxed. And then work all the way through. So let the forehead muscles soften. These are the thinking muscles. Just let them ease up, relaxing across the forehead and around to the temples. And then down the forehead. Feel your eyebrows relaxing. Feel that spot, the bridge of the nose relaxing. And then the eyelids. Soften your eyes. Relax the muscles around the eyes. And then feel the muscles of the face softening. Over the cheekbones. And then out to the jaw muscles. Gently relax through the jaw. We often carry tension there. Let your teeth part. Relax down the jaw and all the way to the chin. And now release under the chin. Down the front of the neck, soothing the throat muscles. All the way down to your collarbones and into your upper chest. Feel that lightness in your breathing. Release around to the sides of your neck. Softening those muscles down from the jaw and down from the shoulders. And around the back of the neck. Release any tension from those upper vertebrae. So that all the neck muscles are at ease. Down into the shoulders. Feel a lightness through the top of your shoulders. Downwards into your shoulder joints. Just notice if you carry any tension there. Breathe, and as you exhale, let it go. Continue down the shoulders into the arms. Let those upper arm muscles relax. Around the upper arms, down into your in the lower arms. Relax those muscles from the elbows downwards into the wrists. Feel a looseness through the wrist joints, all the way around. And then soften your hands. Soften the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands, all of the fingers. Breathe and let your arms feel at rest. And now come up the arms, back to the shoulders, focusing on the back. Over the top of the shoulders, just feel those upper back muscles relaxing. Release along the upper spine, down each vertebra, down between your shoulder blades. Just soften that spot right between the shoulder blades, and then all across the upper back. Keep moving slowly downwards from the upper back into the middle back, down the spine, down the back of your ribs. Feel all the muscles across the back of the ribs relaxing, so that your ribs are just gently expanding and contracting with your breath. Down the back. Now release down to the back of the waist. Across those lumbar muscles. Let them loosen. Let them release. Through the curve of your spine into the lower back. Releasing down the spine and over the sacrum. Just feel the sacrum resting against the mat as you relax the muscles across the back of the hips. And then relax all the way down to the tailbone. Just sense your back now. Sense all the muscles along the spine. Sense the back at ease from your neck to your tailbone. And now just feel the hips at ease. From the back of the hips, relaxing all the way around the hips. The sides of the hips. Front of the hips. Across the abdominal muscles. Once again, feeling your breath, this time through your abdomen, just gently rising and falling. Release over the hip bones, and now feel the muscles in the hip joints down deeper, relaxing. Loosening those hip muscles. Releasing from the hips into the legs. And now relaxing those long muscles of the thighs, from the top of the thighs downwards, down the front of the thighs, and relax the inner thighs, over, relaxing down the outer thighs. And now feel your hamstrings, the back of your thighs relaxing. All of those long leg muscles, let them loosen all the way down into your knee joints. just rest the knees. Relax over the top of the knees, the sides, and the back of the knees. And from the knees, release into the lower legs. Loosening your calf muscles, relaxing along the shins, slowly downwards from the knees, and releasing into the ankles. Let your ankle joints feel at rest, just nice and loose all the way around the ankles. And finally, soften the muscles of the feet. Down the tops of your feet, along the sides, across the back of the heels, and underneath through the soles of your feet. Soften your arches. Relax over the balls of your feet. All the way through the toes. And now feel as if you've completed a journey, breathing slowly and evenly, feeling yourself relax from head to toe. Feel yourself restored mentally and physically. Feel that inner strength. As you breathe, breathe in that strength. As you exhale, let go of anxiety, let go of stress. With each breath, feeling yourself growing stronger. And then feeling yourself focusing again on yourself, on your surroundings, connecting back to the world. When you're ready, just begin to stretch what you need. Move slowly. Breathe a little more deeply. Take your time. Slowly sitting up. You can stay down longer if you need to, as long as you care to. Namaste.